G'day folks, it's the Me for Monkey here again with another, I was going to say Marvel United gameplay video for you, but this is just a chat. So I just wanted to hop online just because I'm really excited about the latest Marvel United Multiverse Kickstarter, which is currently live at the moment over on Kickstarter. And yeah, big campaign. So, you know, CMON don't really need a plug from me or anything like that, but yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with it. And there's a big drop today, which some of you might know which one I'm excited about. Big stretch goal drop as well. So I just thought I'd hop online, and I've been sort of thinking, oh, should I do some content or, you know, chat about what I'm thinking about or how I'm sort of viewing it. But I was thinking, no one really wants to, you know, hear some, you know, guy number 5052 on the internet's, you know, opinions and stuff. But I thought, you know what, I've been having a lot of chats with people, and everyone seems to be enjoying it. So why not get on and have a bit of a chat about it, sort of thing. So that's cool. So I just thought, yeah, let's put up a video, and I'm going back to school tomorrow, going back to work. So I thought let's have some fun before that starts as well. So yeah, so welcome if you're joining us, or yeah, feel free to say hi. I'm not sure if I've got my chat feed. Let me see if I can turn this on and see if I can see chat. No. I don't know about that. All right, cool. So, you can, as you guys know, I'm really good with technology. But yeah, just thought let's get in and have a bit of a chat about it. You guys can sort of tell me how you're feeling about the campaign and that sort of thing as well. And I thought I'd sort of give you my sort of rating on all the different things that have been happening. So, it looks like, oh, apologies, guys. My hello. Sin Arcana, hello. I've got the camera a little bit too far away for me to actually read the chat, so I'll just lean forward a little bit so I can see. But yeah, hello. How you going? But yeah, so I've written myself some notes as well, so I'll just go through and just sort of talk about all the different sort of aspects of the campaign and yeah, all the fun I'm having with it. So I guess I'll just start with the campaign itself. Just, you know, in general, as a general sort of campaign, I'm really having a lot of fun with it. I've backed a lot of Kickstarters in the past, and, you know, been really impressed with different ones and different companies and how they handle it and stuff. But I think sort of being so invested in the game as something that I've been able to use with my channel and have a lot of fun with, and build up a bit of community with, you know, people who enjoy it as well. Plus the Marvel United Discord is really fun community, you know, to hang out there and talk about. And even, you know, during all this time where we didn't think there was going to be another Kickstarter, it's just sustained itself. A lot of fun. People are sharing all their miniature painting and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's just been, I think this time around, going into a campaign where I'm already sort of part of a community of people, you know, talking about it and loving it and that sort of stuff. It's been a lot of fun. So that's been really good. So yeah, I really enjoyed the camaraderie and the different sort of social media places and that sort of stuff as well. And on the Kickstarter page itself, in the comments, and just the banter back and forth, and, you know, people giving each other a bit of, you know, a bit of a niggle over things, you know, like, oh, I wanted this character, I wanted that character and stuff like that. But in general, it's been pretty good-natured and a lot of fun. And we've had some good discussions, you know, robust discussions about that in the Marvel United Discord as well. And it's been really, for the most part, really, really respectful. And even though people have had disagreements in there about, you know, different characters they've wanted and this and that, it's generally been pretty good in terms of, like, people being reasonable and understanding with each other and explaining their points of view and stuff. So that's been really good. So I've really enjoyed that. And I know, you know, CMON's a big company, and we often sort of like, oh, big companies, you know, but I've really personally, you know, maybe I'm a bit naive and stuff, but I've really enjoyed the way that the folks at CMON, or at least the ones involved with this campaign, are sort of interacting with the I was going to say the viewers, but, you know, the crowd, I guess, you know, interacting with the customers and having a bit of fun with them on the different social media things, and sort of, you know, posting cryptic hints and banter back and forth like that. And that's been really good. And I've also really appreciated how they have sort of responded to requests and things like that. You know, like I think Dak, and there was a character that people said, you know, oh, look, this color that you've sort of chosen for the character really is a really sort of niche, you know, it was only in like one episode or one issue or whatever, and this is not really representative of the character. And they listened, and they've sort of made some changes to the model, and there's a whole series of those sorts of things that have happened throughout the campaign, where they've sort of listened to people and sort of within reason, sort of like worked with people and sort of like come up with some solutions or compromises and stuff. So that's been really good. I've really enjoyed that part of it. So yeah, campaign, 5 stars. So we'll go with the 5-star system. So that's pretty good. It was like 4.5 up until today, and then there was a big drop, and now it's 5 stars. So pretty good. So let's talk about, I guess let's go through the expansions themselves now. So like with the latest one, it's not really a new expansion, but are really going along with what I was saying about, CMON sort of responding with people and sort of doing what they could to sort of compromise and accommodate what people are asking for. There's been a lot of requests for the previous content coming out, and understandably logistics-wise, that might be, I don't know how true this is, but there's probably a lot of, or possibly a lot of reasons why they cannot offer all the same stuff that they had from previous campaigns. Whether it's, can they, do they still have the mold? Can they run it all back up again? Is it, I don't know, for whatever sort of logistical reasons that might not be a possibility, but they've said that they're listening and willing to sort of think about it and this and that. And at least at this stage, it looks like they've made at least one concession, which is to offer the Fantastic Four set from last campaign number 2, the XMen campaign. And that's really good because that was a Kickstarter exclusive box that is a great value box. It's got, I think 3 villains. I think it's got Doctor Doom, Super Skrull. Is there another one? Maybe it's just those 2. But then Doctor Doom can be a hero as well. So you get a whole bunch of heroes, Silver Surfer plus the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four have a really fun sort of teamwork mechanism that they use. Doctor Doom and Super Skrull are both really fun battles. I really like Super Skrull with his sort of almost like Sentinel programming type reactions. Put that one up on the channel, I think, and I've played against Doctor Doom as well off the channel, and that was a lot of fun too. So very good. And minis from Mars, the Etsy store from here in Oz, make fantastic Doctor Doom little mini bot things too. So if you're thinking of picking up the new Fantastic Four set, if you haven't had the opportunity to get it now and you're looking to pick it up during this campaign, also check out Minis from Mars. They make some great little tokens to replace the Doom bots. And I know the guy that runs it hates making those models because they're so finicky to put together, but they're really cool. So support him. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, but the fact that the Fantastic Four box has been offered, I think, is just fantastic. And that's pun intended. And what was I going to say? Given the multiverse, can we have Doctor Doom? Ooh, versus Emperor Doom. Well, there is an Emperor Doom in one of the sets, isn't there? It's either Emperor Doom or God Emperor Doom or something, and you can use Doctor Doom as a hero. So yes, you can. I think you can. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, really cool for the previous backers. I don't know whether they'll offer anything else. That this might be all we're getting in terms of that. But yeah, in the core box, that's right. Yeah, in the multiverse core box. But that's pretty good. So I think in terms of if they were going to offer something for the previous stuff, obviously with Galactus being a huge part of this campaign, it's really handy being able to have the Fantastic Four and the other stuff like those Kickstarter promo boxes. I mean, they're amazing because you get so many models and stuff. But I don't know if that's ever feasibly going to be another one. I guess the biggest other one that people are really clamoring for is Sinister Six and maybe the Sentinel box. But I don't know. We'll see. But I think Fantastic Four, at least being able to get that, should make a lot of people happy. So, and if they don't offer the other stuff, like you save some money there too, I guess. Or unless you go and hunt it down on the eBay or whatever, then you're really not saving money. But still. All right, I do feel for all the people that were selling. I don't really feel for them because if they were jacking up the price, I don't feel for them. But if you were trying to legitimately sell your Fantastic Four box and then they've just dropped this, it's like, oh, that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, Age of Apocalypse. Now this was an interesting one because this kind of really changed the whole campaign on its head for me. because sorry, someone's saying something here. I think they recently added Silver Surfer. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing too. Yeah, people had been asking for Silver Surfer, and this is another thing that they've accommodated is with the release of the Fantastic Four. They're also announcing that they're putting the Silver Surfer Herald cards, because people had asked for that. He wasn't originally in the Galactus box. They're putting him in that box too, which awesome. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, the Age of Apocalypse, because this whole campaign when it was announced and stuff, I thought, oh, okay, interesting. I thought, what's going to be in this multiverse and stuff? And listening to what other people were saying and stuff like that, I sort of formed the opinion, okay, so it's going to be, and if you look at the previous, like the XMen campaign, it's all like team-based. It's like Blue Team, Gold Team, X-Force, Fantastic Four. You know, they're all these boxes sort of named after the teams. And I was thinking, okay, so I sort of had that mindset. And so going into this with, you know, thinking about what's going to be in here. So I was just thinking teams. Okay, so which characters we get? Okay, well, Inhumans is a team. So these are the characters I think we're going to get. Young Avengers is a team. These are the characters I think we're going to get. And so on and so on, right? With teams. And it seemed to be playing out that way because we were getting, you know, like Starjammers all together. Like that's a team. And even with the War of Kings box, like the Inhumans, that came out as a set. That's a team. And so on and so on. But then this one came out and it was like called Age of Apocalypse. And I mean, I don't really know the Age of Apocalypse very well or whatever. It was sort of after my time. But as far as I can tell, the actual heroes in that, yeah, they're sort of a team, but they're sort of spread amongst those different multi-teams in that alternate universe or whatever. So it doesn't really feel like much of a team box as such. And the fact that they called it Age of Apocalypse, and then thinking back to what they called the Inhumans box, I was thinking, oh, actually, maybe they're not, maybe all these expansions in this game, I mean, it doesn't really make a big difference about the campaign, but it's interesting that they haven't named the expansions after the teams. They've named them after storylines in the comics. So, you know, you could get the Executioner's Song box next, you know, with Strife and all the different things that were going on there and stuff like that. Although that was, you know, we've already got all that stuff in the previous campaign. But, like, that's just an example. It's like, yeah, the naming them after these different storyline events is an interest. I thought, oh, that's kind of made me think, oh, now I've got to sort of change my expectations about what expansion boxes I think are coming out. I still think, obviously with the team decks and all that sort of stuff, teams are a big part of this campaign and, you know, finishing off teams and that sort of thing. But in terms of what expansions I'm expecting now, I'm thinking, oh, do I have to think about what storylines there are and that sort of thing. So that's interesting. So, yeah, it sort of changed my idea of what the campaign was about sort of thing. So that was interesting. So have you seen the... no, I haven't seen it and I don't want to know. I'm really... Upset's maybe a bit strong, but I'm really bummed that it happened. I mean, I guess I'm like, you know, you know, people can do what they want. I guess I don't really grudge people who want to go out and look for it and find the information sort of thing. I just wish it wasn't there, because it creates this sort of thing where you never know if you're talking to someone who knows or doesn't know, and it's just like, oh, it's just, and I just feel bad for the CMON people and stuff, that it happened and stuff. But no, well, if you love spoiling yourself on things, I guess it's great that it's out there. You can go have a look, find it somewhere. But I know, like, I think the Facebook group, like the admins there were kind of like, not pro the leak, but like, you know, look, you can do what you want if you can access it sort of thing. But in the Discord, we're trying to keep it like, hey guys, let's just try and sort of like keep it out of here sort of thing. But yeah, anyway, yeah, so my main thing is I hope people are respectful of others and aren't trolling each other and throwing, you know, info out there that people don't want to know if they don't want to know it. So, yeah. But, yeah, I guess for those people that really do like that sort of stuff, what a bonanza. You can't ask for more than that. So that would have been a good day for those people. So, but no, I haven't seen it. Like, I've seen that it's happened, but I've tried to sort of keep myself spoiler free sort of thing. So yeah, but now going back to the expansions, the War of Kings was the other big one. And wow, what a big hit that was, because it was like, was it like almost 10, like is it 9 models or something? A huge amount of models in that expansion box compared to what we're normally used to. Yeah, really cool. Gladiator, like a lot of people had been asking for him, so it was a really cool place for him to turn up. And I think he's like a anti-hero, so I know most of my knowledge of the XMen and stuff is from like the Execution, the song, that sort of like run. Collected a few comics back then and watching the 90s cartoon thing. So, you know, that episode where like I think Gladiator shows up and throws Juggernaut like a million miles away and stuff. I'm like, oh, I know this guy is Gladiator. Yeah, I've seen him in one episode or something. So that was cool to see him, sort of thing. So yeah, that was cool. And my biggest thing about the Inhumans, apart from it got some cool characters in there and stuff. It's a bit of a shame about the what do we call that thing? The TV show was a bit sort of undercooked, wasn't it, or something? But yeah, it's still pretty cool. But Lockjaw, so we've got Lockjaw, we've got the animal, so that's precedent for characters that can just be animals. I'm not talking about anthropomorphic animals like Howard the Duck and stuff. I'm talking about just animals. So brute force, there's still hope. We can do it. We've got Lockjaw. We can get maybe brute force and then the Pet Avengers or something, or maybe that's the next campaign. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So very happy for that. That was pretty cool. And then Galactus. I mean, what's not that? It's so cool that they kind of just like. I guess it makes sense, right, to generate interest in the campaign, but like for that to be advertised sort of before it was even sort of launched and stuff, that was a box that was in there. Huge model, not as ridiculously big as the one in Zombies, so it's still, you know, it's like, oh, maybe this is affordable, maybe I can afford to get this one, even though I did get the other one as well, but still. So that's pretty, yeah, that's pretty, like, looks really cool. And I really like the value in this one as well, because you get the Galactus mode, you get all of those. I love the ones where you get heaps of villains and different ways to play the villains and stuff. So you get the Heralds, you can all be played individually. Then you can play the Herald mode. Plus you can play the Herald mode with like all the different heroes you want, including Silver Surfer now. So, yeah, very, very happy about that. So that's cool. Sorry about the... I'm not really keeping up with the chat here. Have you? Oh yeah, just saying. Yeah, not going to say anything. Thank you. So I feel like I'm like an old man, like staring at the screen, going, "Oh, what's that say?" It's top quality YouTube. So anyway, thanks for sticking with us. So yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and like watching like the Dice Tower playthrough of that was a lot of fun stuff. So like seeing that it's actually going to be a fun mode and like challenging but like doable, and yeah, that looks like, I like how they sort of changed up, so you sort of have those missions in different orders, and yeah, it looks like a fun mode sort of thing. So that's I guess the biggest overall thing I'm really enjoying about the campaign is actually just seeing all the different ways they're playing with the game, like changing things up, and some of the villain battles and the way they work and stuff, I've just been like, oh, that's really cool, and I really like that. So that's probably my favorite thing about it. So let's go to the core game. Now, the core game is interesting, because when they first announced it and it was called Multiverse, I was like, oh, you know, like, okay, that just sounds like... I mean, when I sort of I was reading comics for a while, and then when it got into like the Age of Apocalypse, like I think I'd already kind of drifted out a little bit, but like, you know, a friend told me about it and stuff, like, oh, okay, they're changing all the characters and just swapping around, and this guy's a goodie and this guy's a baddie now. I like Beast. I don't want him to be a baddie and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, I really like Beast in Age of Apocalypse. He looks like a cool battle. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay. And then, you know, like the idea of multiverse, like, oh, okay, so everything, like, what's the point now? Everything is different, or whatever. So it's like, oh, okay, we're going to get lots of like just duplicate characters wearing different costumes. Like, oh, okay. Which is funny, because my favorite thing is a duplicate character wearing a different costume. But still, I was like, all right, we'll see where this goes, sort of thing. Because I had that feeling for a while about comics and stuff, but then seeing the Marvel movies and stuff, and seeing what they did with that SpiderMan movie where they had the different Spider-Men come together, it was just too like funny and fun to not think that was pretty cool. So I've sort of warmed on the multiverse sort of thing now, and so I was like, oh, let's see what happens. And it's like, yeah, it was kind of what we expected, right? So you get all those sort of MCU sort of variants, and well, not variants, but like, you know, you got Captain Carter, you've got Iron, what's her name? Ironheart, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And the models are really cool, and they look like, you know, and they announced the equipment for them and stuff, which is really cool as well. So that's cool. So yeah, Ironheart, SpiderMan, I don't know, like there must be a lot of SpiderMan fans out there because they're certainly making a lot of repeat SpiderMan, aren't they? But SpiderMan, like, I will admit, I wasn't aware of how much there was people didn't like the old costume with the old Spider-Man 2099. So it's really cool that they've put a new one in and sort of like updated his costume or made it go back to the original or something. But it looks really sweet as well. That model looks really cool as well. So that's good. Yeah, really happy with Doom in his chair. He looks awesome. Happy with Maestro, because I played that Marvel contest of champions or something, and like Maestro was like a big baddie at the end of it or something, and so that was really fun, sort of seeing him. And Immortus, again, I don't really know much about Kang, but like he sounds cool, so that was cool. So yeah, lots of really cool stuff in there. I'm trying to think who the other characters are. Oh yeah, Loki, awesome. Yeah, so some really cool stuff in there. Like, it wasn't the most exciting for me. I was like, okay, well, yeah, this is it. But I was sort of going into this campaign just expecting that sort of stuff. Like, oh, cool, more models, which means more decks I can play with, more baddies, so more, you know, different ways I can play and that sort of stuff. So, and it was a good way of getting into that. So, and then when they sort of announced, when they actually dropped and we had those, like, I don't know what they're called, like the Pledge exclusives or something. So we had Wrecking Crew. That was really cool. I love those battles where you have, you know, Toad and Pyro and forget who the third one is, but the Brotherhood of Mutants. I really like those battles where you can have a few different guys together and stuff. So having Wrecking Crew with the 4 of them, I was really excited about that. And then Iron Lad. The cool thing about Iron Lad was once we saw that, we sort of, well, I thought, okay, cool. Now we're going to see Young Avengers, because I think he was the guy that founded the Young Avengers, wasn't he? So I thought, yeah, that's cool sort of thing. So yeah, that I really like those pledge thingies too. I know people have been talking about, but in your honest opinion, do you think there will be a fourth season? Oh gosh, or is it time? Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's time to get a new. I don't know if they would do a new IP. Man, I was sort of in the camp that didn't think season 3 was going to happen, but now it's like, oh well, I mean, never say never, right? But I mean, we're also, here's the thing, we're you know, it feels like, oh, we're dredging the, you know, the bottom of the D-listers or whatever, but when you see how much people are clamoring for all these different characters now, and you know that some of them aren't gonna hit, especially if we keep having another 500 Havocs, why not? Like, if it's going to keep making money for them, I would be a lot more, so I guess, okay, honest opinion, I think it is, I'd probably say 60 to 65% likely that we'll get a 4th season, whereas previously I probably would have said, like, you know, 30% chance we'll get a 3rd season. So I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not super sold that it's going to happen. On talking about other IPs though, I know a lot of people talk about DC, and I know a Bear Killer, one of the viewers here, he's in favour of DC stuff. I'm not really a big fan of DC, so I'd much rather see more Marvel stuff than DC. But I would love to see, like, My Hero Academia. It bummed me out when I heard that G.I. Joe, because G.I. Joe would be amazing for this, and I thought, oh, it's Marvel, but apparently it's not Marvel anymore. Apparently, like, IDW or something bought it out, so I don't think we'll see that. But you know, Star Wars, there's so many different IPs that would be awesome for this. So yeah, I'm hopeful. Yeah, some new IP just to, yeah, like TMNT. Although, have you seen, yeah, G.I. Joe? Oh, could you imagine all the Vipers and, like, oh man, it'd be so good. But TMNT, that would be awesome. And there's a, I don't know if it's on BGG or whatever, but I know in the Discord there's access to, like, playable characters or something for the TMNT and Shredder or something like that. And there are Etsy models that you can get. So if you're interested in TMNT, there is a way you can sort of do that now through sort of fan-made stuff. But and I think there's another guy on Marvelous Custom Prints. He's making his own He-Man ones as well. So check that out. Let's see. Core game. What was I up to? I'm not on my first page. God. All right. Yeah, let's talk about all the little bits and pieces. So equipment, cool. Really cool way to update the older heroes. A lot of people were complaining that the older heroes didn't feel as unique, or power creep or whatever with the new one. So this is a cool way to sort of go back, fix them up, give them that theme and flavor, and still continue it through to the new ones that have that sort of stuff. I'm a big fan of the double wilds, so I'm a bit like, I don't want to not use my double wilds, but we'll see. But I'm also like, well, it's my game, I can do what I want, so maybe I'll use equipment cards and double wilds. We'll see. But definitely cool to have them, so I think that's really cool. Similar with the team decks, like I'm like, I don't want to give up my double wilds, but teams sound pretty cool as well. So, and I really do enjoy. I just love this game in so many different ways. So I love just picking random characters. I love picking teams together for certain, let's have the X Factor fight Strife or whatever, certain storylines and stuff. Which is why I think this, with the expansions being called after the different storyline stuff, is interesting, and maybe that will lead towards some sort of campaign sort of thing. Maybe that's hinting at some sort of campaign mode or something, or linking stories together or something down the track. But team decks certainly seem cool, but I kind of want to still use my double wild, so maybe I'll just cheat and use my double wilds, but we'll see. I'll try not to do that on stream for you guys, or on camera for you, so it doesn't wreck your experience. And what's the other one? The solo mode. Now that's the one. I actually played a lot of the old solo mode. I was like, oh, this is fine, whatever. But the more I played it, the more sort of wonky it sort of got. And I eventually listened to people's advice and started playing multi-handed solo. Now I haven't gone back because it's just so much better. So I was sort of like, oh, solo mode, I don't know if I need that anymore. But I played it. And for those of you who saw the stream, or not the stream, the video, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully you saw that it's a very viable way of playing it, sort of thing. So definitely I missed having multiple models on the board and that sort of stuff, but it was a really fun way of playing it. Jury's still out, obviously, because only playing one villain. I think the villains will massively sort of affect how much that system works and stuff, just like the old solo mode sort of thing. But I like that, because the old solo mode, like, I think if you got knocked out once, you had a bigger hand, but if you got knocked out once, like, you were technically defeated unless you wanted to up or lessen the difficulty level or something, and you give yourself a few extra lives. But that always felt a bit wonky, so I like that this one sort of feels like it fits within the regular framework of the game a lot more, and it gives you some interesting. I really like that support deck thing. That gives you another interesting way to play the game. The battle cards, haven't used those yet, but they sound fun as well. So the solo mode looks really good as well. So which do you prefer, original, solo, or the... Well, that question, definitely the new solo mode. Having only played one game of it, but I have played a lot of the old solo mode, so I don't really know what I'm talking about with the new solo mode, but I definitely know what I'm talking about with the old solo mode, and by the end of it, I didn't really enjoy that mode very much. So the new mode, currently, I'm definitely more in favor of. So I definitely recommend trying it out. And for those people who are like, oh, should I get this game or not? I'm a solo gamer mostly. Is this going to be worth it for solo? I think this new mode makes it worth it for solo if you are one of those people that I only play by the official solo rules. I also think it's definitely worth it for solo if you just multi-hand, because it's an amazing game when you play it like that solo as well. So, yeah. What's that? Sorry. So let's talk about, I think we've talked about everything there. So let's talk about this. Let's go through the stretch goals now. So I didn't give any scores for these. So campaign itself, 5 out of 5. Fantastic 4 being released, 5 out of 5. Age of Apocalypse, I'm going to give it a 3.5 for me, because I'm like, but looks really cool. Oh, I forgot to talk about that Nemesis model. Sweet, looks really cool. I really like how they painted the face on the outside, because they got the resin kit or something. They didn't get the one with the removable head or whatever, but that was really cool. War of Kings, 4 out of 5. I don't really like shouldn't say I don't like the Inhumans, but they're whatever. But amazing value. We get the dog character, so giving us hope for brute force. So really cool. Galactus, 5 out of 5. Really excited about that. Core game, let's give it a 4 out of 5. Equipment, 4. Solo mode, 4. Team decks, 4. There you go. Oh, I forgot to talk about the playmat. This is sort of the first thing I'm like, ugh, really like that, but it's not really for me. It's apparently people wanted, the only thing is like people, okay, I get it, like people requested a smaller one. I'm not really sure how much room you end up really saving with that. If you're going to put your, you put them around the side, you sort of, it takes up the same amount of space. If you put your storyline to the side, like in a, however you want to do it or whatever, plus this big mat, I still don't see how you're saving that much room. I could be wrong. It's cool that it's an option. Again, it's not, I don't really have a skin in the game because I've got my mat, so I don't really want to say, oh, it should be this way, it should be that way, but I sort of wish that they were giving you the option to get the old one or the new one, so that you could choose in this one. But I guess at least it's something. So and cool colors and stuff. And they've switched for the solo mode. They've put the dashboard at the top and the locations closer. I think I really like having the dashboard closer because I'm always sort of having to double check the villain and all that sort of stuff, rather than the locations I can sort of remember usually a bit more than that. So I think I like the original X-Men one. A lot of people say they don't like the yellow of the X-Men one, but I love it, so it's all good. Yeah, so there you go. Stretch goals. I've gone off on a tangent. I think it's a cool detail that Nemesis will have removed. Yeah, it's amazing. That's like, how good is that? It's like, it's like you think that they've, like, can't impress us anymore, and then they're like, oh, here, by the way, it's like removable pieces. Now I really want a removable armor. You know that character armor who's like all in a big thing? So like you get the model and you put like this Kinder Surprise egg thing over the top of it. That would be really cool. So smaller mat will allow for the timeline to be done in. Yeah, I don't know. I really, before getting the mat, I was like, look at this stupid circle you've got to do. You're like, oh man, that's like, imagine having to do this. But it's actually like really easy. You just go put the card out here, done. I really like the circle. I like the look of it and how it contains it all. But yeah. Anyway, but again, it's one of these things. Like everything in this campaign, like there's stuff that has landed that I'm like, oh, that's not really for me or whatever. But like, I'm really happy for those people who've been asking for it or want it. So, and it's available for people, so that's cool. So stretch goals. I think it's the third time I've tried to do it, but so let's go. So I've grouped these guys together, the Star Jammers. Super happy about these guys. They're so niche. I was like, what? They've announced the Star Jammers first. So, but because they're like such, I don't know. To me, they seem like such like random characters, but I really like them because I remember them from being a big X Factor fan, liking Havoc, and therefore liking the sort of Havoc Cyclops Brotherhood sort of thing, and how that ties to Corsair and the Starjammers. I really, really like that. So, and their little arc in the TV show and stuff was really cool. So, yeah, I'm super happy with that. And is it just me, or does the model and the picture for Corsair look like Ben Stiller from Dodgeball? I just can't get that image out of my head now. So that's what I'm thinking about that one. But yeah, it looks really cool. And I'm really stoked that they put Lilandra into the Starjammers deck as well, so that's really cool because it ties that whole thing together, that whole arc. You can recreate so many of those little scenes and stories from the show and from the comics with like Professor X and Lilandra and Deathbird and Lilandra and all these different ones. So yeah, pretty cool. Then they, again, I don't know if this is in order, but Black Knight was another one that was really cool. Now Black Knight is one that I just before they announced Multiverse, I bought a whole bunch of alternate minis from Marvel Custom Print, and Black Knight was one of them. And so I've got all these models now where I'm like, oh no, now I've got two of them. And what I want to say about that is that I really think that he does a great job with making all these different characters and stuff, which is great. So I still really support his stuff. And the other thing is, if you're looking at, I shouldn't say this because I want the campaign to fund, but really, if you're sort of cost conscious or you just not interested in all the different stuff, or you, for whatever reason, you don't get all of the stuff in the campaign, Marvel Custom Print and other places like that are places where, like you wanted all of this, maybe you wanted Black Knight, but you didn't want to sort of back everything and all that sort of stuff. Well, this is a way you can still get Black Knight, or whoever you want, sort of things. Like, so I'd already got a Havoc and with his X Factor suit, and Black Knight, and I think Mandarin and a whole bunch. So we'll see how many of them turn up in the in the thing. But yes, the Marvelous Custom Print. Yeah, they do a really good job as well on Etsy. So definitely check them out if you're looking for if any of your characters don't make it in this season 3. Check out Marvelous Custom Print, because I'm guaranteeing he's probably got half of the stuff you're missing. So so that's cool, great. Oh yeah, and also Black Knight sort of gives us hope for like some sort of dark team. You know, I don't know what team he's actually in, but I sort of like, you know, people talk about Midnight Suns and Thunderbolt, all these sort of anti-hero teams or whatever. So I'm wondering if he's one of them or something, and him being in the stretch goals might give hope for people that team is going to be assembled in the stretch goals. One thing these campaigns have done is brought up characters and teams some I've never heard of. Yeah, Starjammers. Yeah, that's right. Who the hell are the Starjammers? Claw. Cool. Like, don't really know much about him, but I do remember like playing him in Marvel Champions, the card game. So I'm like, oh, cool, Claw. So that's cool. Chameleon is an awesome one. I don't know much about him as a Spider-Man foe or something like that, but a lot of people were happy about him, so that was a cool thing to see. You know, this was another thing I really like, when something drops and people are really excited about it. It's fun to sort of watch, and you learn more about the comics too. You know, Starjammer's like, oh, who are these guys? But Chameleon looks awesome with his base. Like, he's another one like that Deadpool, with all the different things on the base. Like, oh, it's going to be a great one for painters to sort of look for all the Easter eggs and how to paint them and stuff. So that's cool. Next one, Songbird. Definitely a pixie killer. This one, my daughter, whenever I play this with her, she never wants to be. There's like 5,000 other characters. She always wants to be Pixie. Songbird, I think, is going to knock Pixie off that perch. So, amazing model. Love the clear effects. The purple. Oh, I forgot to talk about in Age of Apocalypse, XMen, that Nate Grey guy with all the yellow. Oh, awesome. Such a cool model. Like, his glowing eye. Yeah, Songbird, really cool. And I think she gives us hope for some sort of team, doesn't she? I forget what team she's supposed to be on, but yeah, maybe she's a Thunderbolt or a Midnight Sun. I don't know. Yeah. Titania, don't know too much about her, but I really like her character in that She-Hulk show. So she's kind of fun, and I love the model, how she's like bending that girder over the top of herself. Absorbing Man, amazing model. I really like how those two as a combo are another one of these little tweaks in game design where they've sort of found a bit of room to play with, where you can sort of like have them pop in and out as like threats for each other and stuff as well, which is really cool. Version XMen is the Wish version of Cable. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh man. Now, SpiderMan Cyborg is, I feel like, sort of like one of the first ones that people got really a bit sort of grumpy about, because they were like, oh, we don't need another Spider-Man, and he's such a random and stuff. And I kind of was agreeing. I was like, oh, Cyborg Spider-Man. Okay, do we need another Spider-Man? But he's probably my favorite model of the whole, or I don't know, there's been some amazing ones come out recently, but he's been one of the favorite models. Like, I love that pose, because I really, I know he's like not a super popular character, but Long Shot from the previous campaign, favorite model, because just the way they've captured him sort of leaping over that brick wall, just such a cool pose. And this one sort of gives me that vibe as well, the way he's sort of like leaping over the wall. So yeah, Cyborg, I don't really know much about him. Great for people that are familiar with him, but amazing model. So I'm really looking forward to painting him up. So he'll be cool. Abomination. Oh yeah, Abomination. Yeah, he was. He's probably, apart from Iron Lad, he's probably the first one that and the Core Box, of course. But he's probably the first one that I saw that I was like, oh, finally one of the ones I was expecting. Like, if I'd had to make a list prior to the campaign, he would have been like one of the first that I would have thought, yeah, he's definitely not one that I would have wanted, although I probably would have, but he's one I definitely would have gone, yeah, we're definitely getting Abomination. Like, he's such a big name that we haven't seen yet. He's like a big Hulk character. Like, we haven't got a lot of Hulk thematic villains, I think, and stuff like that. So he's one that's like, oh, cool. Like, he's a big missing name that should be there, sort of thing. So yeah, he was really cool. Plus, he's a big, cool model as well. Patriot and Speed. So these were two, they came out at different times, but these are the ones that, along with Iron Lad, were like, oh, sweet, yeah, we're definitely getting like these Young Avengers. Speed also gives us like, oh, okay, so we're probably getting Wiccan as well. I say that like I know who Wiccan and Speed are, but like I know enough now from some recent conversations, and also that, what was that show, the WandaVision. I know enough now that I'm like, okay, well if I see Speed I should see Wiccan as well. So yeah, but that's cool. So yeah, Young Avengers, I don't really know anything about them, but I know a lot of people are excited. Is it JF? I think JF is the one on the one of the viewers who's really after the Young Avengers, so I'm really hoping to see more of them, so that's cool. And let's see, Crimson Dynamo. I don't know much about him, but looking at his name, is he like the dad of Whiplash or something from that Iron Man 2 movie? I don't know, but he seems like a Russian version of Iron Man or something, but yeah, he seems cool. I don't really know much about him, sort of thing, but switch Spider-Man, Cyborg Spider-Man for Anti-Venom or Agent Venom, or better yet, Spider-Man. Okay, but definitely, surely we're going to see some more like Venom stuff, like Agent Venom or something like that, right? Yeah. These are the things like people are like, oh, why are we getting all these X-Men and stuff? Where's all this stuff? But I'm like, patience. Like, I'm sure, surely we'll get some of this stuff. But yeah. M and Husk, I think these guys are Generation X. I could be missing a few from Generation X here, but both of these look amazing, like cool models. Gonna be like that Husk one. I'm like, how am I gonna paint that? And also, like, what's her deal? Why is she ripping her clothes off? I mean, I guess she's got to rip her skin off to get all the new layer of skin, but like, why? It seems really expensive. Like, what's going on? Like, why is she ripping all of her clothes off? She has to do that every time she changes skin. Like, that's. Why would you even bother having a uniform if you're going to have to rip it off every time? It just seems, I don't know what's going on with that skin, but the rules for that sound really cool. And the rules for M swapping back and forth, but like, it just seems like, oh, these are really cool. The only thing is I hope that a lot of these are like, oh, that sounds really cool. I hope these actually feel fun to play and don't feel fiddly or gimmicky, if you know what I mean. Like, Multiple Man, my favorite character of all time. And I really love how his system works in the thingy, but I have to admit it's a little bit fiddly, right? It's like Marvel United is so fun because it's just plug and play, like let's just play, but Multiple Man for me is one of those ones I've got to stop and go, oh, wait, how does this work again, sort of thing. So I hope that some of these ones that I'm getting all excited about are still really like, they don't get in the way of the easiness of the game, sort of thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it so far. Crossbones, yeah, he's another one like Abomination, where I'm like, he was one of those ones on the threat cards. All the ones that are on previous threat cards are like, surely we're getting him, and they've already got drawings on them and stuff. So, and he's famous from the shows and stuff, or the movies and stuff. So, yeah, definitely another one I was expecting. And from memory, I think his rules look pretty cool as well. So, Cypher, don't really know him from anything, but model looks really cool as well, so that's really good. Let's see, Dakin. Now he's another one that was interesting because, again, I don't really know anything about him, but I really liked CMON's response to the complaints about how he looked. I thought his spike arms coming out at a different angle from his elbow looked a bit wonky anyway, so I'm glad they sort of changed that. I don't really know much about like why his skin was one color or the other when he was a baddie or whatever, but it seems like most people wanted it the other way. I sort of feel sorry for the silent majority or whatever that that maybe were really happy with. Oh wow, they went with that look from that comic arc that I really remembered. I really liked him when he was in that color, and then like everyone complains and then they change it to the other one. You're like, oh, like I wonder how many people were actually, oh man, like that was so cool, and now they've changed it because other people complained. Like I wonder how much of that goes on, but look, it seems like most people are happy with this, so cool. And CMON listened to what people wanted. I hope people don't complain about Havoc and they don't get rid of Havoc because he's really cool. Keep Havoc. All right, so Chamber. Also I like that with Dakin. It sounds cool the way his his villain works, where he sort of like he's trying to challenge you with his cards and stuff like that. That sounds pretty cool. Chamber, awesome mini. Again, don't really know much about him. Can't remember what team he's supposed to be on, but again, he's sort of one of these characters that's like, oh, cool, they're sort of building these teams, or at least, oh, this character's appeared, so like we'll probably get this team or whatever. So yeah, Chamber's really cool. Maximus, oh yeah, the Inhuman guy. Yeah, he was a given, right? As soon as they announced the Inhuman box and he wasn't in it, it was like, okay, well, he's going to show up because like, yeah. So, but he's cool. Captain Britain. Now, Captain Britain was probably one of the first ones where I was like, ugh. I personally was like, oh man, do we need another, like, oh, kind of disappointed, because I was like, well, like it's another, is it Psylocke or something? Like, oh, it's another version of that. But she looks awesome, and it was obvious that she is a major part of like that Excalibur team or something like that. So like she's a major linchpin in like people that wanted that team, and to be able to sort of like build a more robust version of that team have got her now, and a lot of people were really happy about it. So, and that's the thing, I think, you know, as much as like something comes out and we're like, oh, another version of this, or oh, that's not the one I was looking for, or whatever, I think we have to remember that like there's so many different characters, and you know, someone's going to be happy about it, and let's be happy for them, right? So yeah, so that was really cool. And she's another one that I think might, if I paint her well, might be able to knock Pixie off her perch, and maybe my daughter will want to play her as well. So yeah, so she's cool. Iron Patriot is probably one of my favorite reveals of the whole thing, just because I really like the sound of using that Cabal system, where sort of like it's a sort of, it's kind of like a do-it-yourself, make your own Sinister Six, you know, like where you get to sort of like play with a bunch of different villains and stuff. I really like that, and choose which one is going to be the boss and stuff. So yeah, it looks really cool. So that's an awesome one. Dark Child, following along for, and I think a lot of people were feeling these sort of same things because we're getting a lot of dupes, right? And I think this is where the Havoc thing is just like, it's another dupe sort of thing. But like Dark Child is another one where it's like, oh well, don't we already have Havoc? Dark Child or Magic as a goodie, and don't we already have her as a baddie? Do we really need like an anti-hero version? The answer is yes, because people wanted her, and it's an amazing looking model. So yes, people are happy. Some people are happy. Why not? So Aurora, super happy about this one because it sort of completes some of the characters that were missing that people wanted from Alpha Flight. I love Alpha Flight because they're another one of those teams that have like their little team rules and stuff as well. And I really liked playing with them in the last season on some of my videos and stuff. Poor Alpha Flight, they got smashed in that Deadpool game. But they came back and made up for it against Apocalypse, so they were really cool. But the one thing about Aurora though is I wish, because I remember from the cartoons like Aurora and, is it North Star or whatever, like they'd join hands or something and fly together, and they'd always kind of be doing things together. And I sort of wish that they made her sort of like in that same pose as North Star, where he's kind of like this or whatever he is, so that you could put them together and they're kind of like linking hands or whatever. I think that would be really cool. At the moment, she's just kind of like she's just in this really sort of like, it's almost like she's been caught out, like sort of pose. Or she looks a bit like, some people I think have said that she looks a bit like Polaris or something, just kind of like standing there. So yeah. Yeah, Alpha Flight, yeah, Aurora. US Agent, I don't really know much about him, but I think he like gives us Thunderbolt sort of hope as well. Awesome model, so it's one of those ones that makes us like, we were happy with Captain America, and now we're not really happy with Captain America now that we know what he could look like if he's like in that action pose sort of thing. So but yeah, really cool. I love his rules where he thinks he's a good guy, so he actually plays with hero cards. That's really cool. So another one I think I really liked Iron Patriot, and US Agent might have just pipped him at the post with like how much I think that's a cool idea for a villain battle sort of thing. So yeah, that's really cool, and I really liked his character in the TV show as well. I know that all these guys aren't really from the TV shows, but like that's how I know them. So that was really cool. Have I really got to the end of the list here? I did too. Awesome. All right. Well, and the last one is, as I'm sure we're all aware, Havoc. So I get that a lot of people were not happy with this, but man, this was the one character from last season that I was like not happy with. I was like, what is this ridiculous Black Bolt looking model? Like, and I get that that's his look and that's his classic thing, and that's for most or a lot of people, I suppose most people, that like that's their preferred Havoc and stuff, and it's dear to them. But man, it irked me so much that I had my favorite team, the X Factor, and they all looked classic in their classic 90s X Factor uniforms, except the boss, their leader, didn't look anything like the rest of them, didn't have the same, because the whole thing with the X Factor is like they're government agents, they got the uniform, and then like he wasn't wearing the uniform, he wasn't what I remembered. Like my memory of X Factor was that stupid jacket with the big lapels and his like coiffed hair and stuff. Like that's X Factor to me. When I remember it, that's what I remember. And so this other guy, I was like, who the hell is that? Black Bolt? And it's like, no, that's Havoc. And I was like, oh no. So for me, that was a big sticking point from the last campaign. And as you guys are aware, because I rabbit on about it all the time. But I never really thought, like when they announced this new season, I was like, there's no way that there'd be enough like people wanting a jacket change for this, you know, like I can get like, oh, let's make a villain version of this, or let's like, you know, like what's her name, Captain Britain or whatever. Like that's a kind of like a completely different sort of persona or something of Psylocke. You know, it's a very different thing. Whereas this is just like he's just wearing a different set of clothes. So it's like there's no way that they would waste a spot of a character on this. And I guess this is why people are so angry, right? They're like, why would you waste a spot on this? But for me, this is the one thing that I really wanted. It completes that team for me. That team is why I got into Marvel United in the first place. When I saw that those guys were available, that's where I sort of backed the game. And you know, having the complete X Factor thing is just amazing for me. So, you know, sorry to make it about me sort of thing, but you know, I guess what I'm trying to share is like, so how happy I am. And so this is sort of why I know that, you know, if we get a Captain Britain or we get a Dark Child or whatever and we're not particularly happy with it, it's like cool, but there will be some people out there that are super happy with it. So like, let's just be happy for them, and yeah, and hopefully we can all get, you know, something that we're really looking forward to. So yeah, all about aesthetic, right? All about the 90s jacket sort of thing. But yeah, so super happy with that. Plus it sounds like, you know, he doesn't sound like he's amazingly different, you know, because he's just another hero thing, but it sounds like his hero cards are cool. I like the idea that he gets like wild tokens every villain turn or whatever. So like, sounds like he's quite a different way to play Havoc, which is, you know, interesting. So at least he's not too similar sort of thing. So that's really cool. And yeah, so really looking forward to that. Speaking of Havoc, I'll just grab I did want to show these off. Sorry, because speaking about Marvelous custom print, yeah, look at this guy. Surely that's just, even when they, you probably can't, that's probably not a great thing, but even the model of Black Bolt in this new thing looks almost exactly the same pose as Havoc there. But this, if you're wondering, this is Marvelous custom print. So this is the Havoc that they just released recently for him. I was just about to get ready to paint him, so I might still do that, but like, you know, like, oh, I want that new one. But yeah, really cool model. So, you know, if you're looking at getting some sort of Marvel United, but you decide not to get the big Kickstarter edition this time or whatever, but you like Havoc with this style, or any of the different sort of models and stuff, yeah, he's really cool. And like, he even does cool stuff like the Santa Claus and stuff as well, so that's really cool. And I just happened to be painting Polaris, half done it there. Not quite finished her yet, but she must have been sensing that Havoc was coming, sort of thing. So that's really cool. But yeah, really excited for what's to come. Now that I've got everything that I really wanted, because the only thing I really like, I was just happy going along with the ride. The one thing I really wanted was Havoc. I didn't think we'd get it, but now that we've got that, I'm happy to jump on any bandwagon people want me to support. So definitely brute force. Come on, if we can get Havoc, there's no we did not need Havoc. I love that we got Havoc. We didn't need him. I don't want to like keep him. CMON, I'm not saying get rid of him, keep him, but if we can get Havoc, let's all band together and get brute force. A team of like, what is it? A lion, a bear, a dolphin, eagle, and a kangaroo as your fighting force. I mean, what's not to love? So yeah, brute force all the way. For JF's sake, let's get more Young Avengers. For Bear Killer, well, Bear Killer wanted a DC United. I'm not sure we're going to get that this time, but maybe down the track. But yeah, so might get Senator Kelly. Oh yeah. Hold on. Wait. Senator Kelly. Definitely do get Senator Kelly. Minis from Mars. Here in Oz. This is 100% the same, if not better quality of any of the CMON models from Marvel United. Looks exactly the same style, fits in perfectly, beautiful to paint, excellent base. Yeah, so minis from Mars on Etsy, definitely. And all those little upgrade thugs and civilians and doombots and multiple mans, super worth it. I know the shipping is kind of expensive overseas and stuff outside of Australia, but definitely worth it. Top quality product, super good guy. Marvelous custom print, huge range of models. So support these guys on Etsy if you can. So, but yeah, really cool. But yeah, if you're on the fence with that Senator Kelly, I say jump all in. He makes that Mystique battle super fun. Pops on the table as well. And I was going to say Rick Jones. I don't know anything about Rick Jones or what that's got to do with anything, but there's some sort of model in, is it Immortus? One of the villains in the new core set uses a Rick Jones token. Minis from Mars. I think we need a Rick Jones token because that little token on the board is not going to cut it now that we know that we can have this. So, am I even showing that properly? There we go. YouTube quality viewing. There we go. All right. So, yeah, really cool. Speaking of, I'm surprised he didn't get a main. Yeah, actually, that was one of the things. I have been expecting characters like Trask and Senator Kelly. Who's that guy that was? Oh, speaking of X Factor, I started reading the original X Factor when it was like the X-Men decided to like change jobs and this cockamamie scheme of like, oh, we're going to save mutants by pretending to hunt them down by being like anti-mutant racist, like fighting force or something. It's just, yeah, ridiculous. It blows my mind how stupid that concept was, but I loved how like absolutely dysfunctional that team was, and what a crybaby Cyclops was the whole thing, and Beast's whole thing where he sort of went sort of crazy and stuff. But yeah, there was a guy in that, the guy who like was actually sort of like their boss or whatever. He wasn't their boss, but he was kind of like their PR guy. What was his name? Cameron Hodge. He's another one that I was like, oh, it wouldn't be cool if they had like a Cameron Hodge and stuff, because yeah, that'd be cool. Because what I'm thinking of doing with that first class team is painting them like that original X Factor team, because they kind of look like they're in sort of similar costumes and just slightly different color schemes and things like that. So I'm sort of thinking I'm not, because I don't really like the look of the first class team. I mainly got the box just for completion's sake and have more variants of models to play with and that training battle sort of thing rule. So yeah, what I'm looking at doing is painting them like that X Factor team. I think that'd be fun. So yeah, anyway, well, thank you guys for sticking around. Thanks for listening to me ramble on about my thoughts and watching me sweat here. It's like so hot here at the moment. But yeah, hopefully you guys are really enjoying the campaign. Yeah, let me know what things you're really looking forward to. Let me know like how you're thinking about the campaign and you know, and what's going on, that sort of thing. But also let me know what are the things you're really looking forward to now, because now that I've got Havoc, I'm free, so I can jump on whatever bandwagon you want. I'll give it a thumbs up. So yeah, you know, if I can share it on my channel and all, you know, 3 people that watch it hear it, I can promote whatever thing you want for the campaign. So what we got? I had an idea of putting together probably another tournament using the teams rule. Oh, the teams rules. Yeah. Is that like the blue and green? Sorry, blue and gold teams. So it would be decent versus. Oh, so it would be a decent versus game with so many characters. It could pick 3 at random. Same for the villain. Yeah, that'd be cool. That's the other thing too, I guess. Before I go, is some of the stuff I'm still looking forward to. Like, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this, or wouldn't it be cool if they did that? Is like some of these other, and now I'm sort of starting to think, oh, are we going to get these things anymore? Maybe the team decks was kind of like the big sort of change up sort of thing, but I was thinking there's going to be a lot more change up modes and stuff. So I was thinking, you know, maybe we'll get campaign mode, or maybe we'll get, although if you do like campaign modes, there's a perfectly good one on, actually there's quite a few different ones on BGG, so go check those out. But like people have talked about the skirmish one and stuff like that. I don't think we'll get that, but you know, talk about, you know, skirmish where I don't know if you would have it still with that circle, or if you would maybe put like a grid of the different locations and you could move around them and stuff. But yeah, that sort of stuff's really interesting to me if they would go in that direction, but I sort of don't think so. You know, they've sort of, it seems like when you hear them talk on the live stream and stuff, that they didn't want to change the system too much. So I think like a skirmish mode or whatever would change. It wouldn't be Marvel United anymore. It would be a very different game, right? So I don't think really we're going to get that sort of stuff, but it's interesting to think about it. And like you're saying there, like, where if we want these things, we're the people that can come up with them. There's some amazing work, you know, people making their own villain versions of heroes and vice versa, and you know, the Warzone Punisher I've played with here, and the Lizard. And speaking of another model, I'm surprised they haven't revealed yet, Lizard. But there's so much, it's obvious that there's so much quality game design out there amongst the people that, yeah, go for it. Like if you've got this idea for a tournament style and that sort of thing, yeah, give it a shot. Like play test it, get some friends together, play test it, do it online over TTS or whatever. Yeah, give it a shot. Like go for it. Like why not? And then if it works out, post it on BGG. You know, get it out there and people will play it. So yeah, if we don't get all the things that we want game mode wise and that sort of stuff, like there's so much quality content out there and so much ingenuity from the fans out there that we can do it ourselves as well. So you know, let's just enjoy what CMON are giving us. You know, yeah, they're a big company and you know, we're big companies, but hey, look, they're giving us a really fun campaign, really fun models. Yes, it's a very expensive game if you go all in and that sort of stuff, but it's I shouldn't say it, for me, it's been totally worth it. Like I've played it so much. I play it more than any other game I've ever played. I get so much enjoyment out of the paint. It's given me a whole new hobby in painting and that sort of stuff. I can't say that it's worth it for everyone, but yeah, super good fun. And if you want to sort of dip your toe in the water, there's it's actually quite affordable getting some of the base retail sets and that sort of stuff. I'm not sure that the replayability is there as much, because part of the fun of this is just like having so many different characters to pick from, and I'm still, you know, I'm not even halfway through all the different villains that I've played and that sort of stuff. So I think it becomes a lot more expensive, but the value becomes a lot better the more you get, sort of thing. So yeah, I guess that's it. So, but you know, shop responsibly and make sure you do your research, check it out. Really think, do you need to sort of go all in, or you know, whatever you're going to do, sort of thing. But yeah, the main thing is enjoy yourself. So yeah, to quote Thanos, I'll do it myself. Yeah, that's right, I'll do it myself. But anyway, yeah, well, thank you guys. It's been a lot of fun, sort of just rambling and getting all this sort of stuff off my chest. And I've just been having these thoughts, you know, for the last however many 6 or 7 or however many days this campaign's been going. Been a lot of fun. Shout out to all the folks in who watch me on YouTube, who are in the Facebook community, the Discord community, just on the Kickstarter chat itself and that sort of stuff. Hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Thanks to Sin Arcane, and apologies, there was someone else who was in here as well. But thank you, Sin, for filling up the comments and giving me someone to talk to, which is good. Yeah, no worries. And but yeah, if you're watching this later on, yeah, hope you've enjoyed the chat, and I really hope you are getting getting at least some of the stuff you want out of this campaign and having fun with it. So yeah, Meeple Monkey out. See you guys. Bye bye. I can't remember how to turn this off. Here it is.